I'd like to call to order a public hearing on the application of Tracy and Richard Ranchoff, I hope I pronounced that correctly, requesting amendment of the Turtle Bay subdivision PUD plat to reflect setback changes on lot number 126 PPN 42-00401.057. Roll call, please.
Milcom.
Here.
Martino.
Here.
Claus.
Here.
App.
Here.
Dyke. Greaves.
Here.
Eggy.
Here.
Very good. Mr. Ebert, I believe we need to swear in the witnesses at this time.
Whoever's going to speak, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give tonight will be called to the microphone.
Okay, at this point, we are going to have witness testimony. That be,
I'll just say through you, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to defer to Mrs. Gibney to give a little background on the request that's been made of the city, which then is therefore subject to a public hearing since it's an amendment potential of a PUD.
okay. Ms. Gibney.
Mayor Tapp, members of council, good to see you. So we've got an amendment before you for Turtle Bay, which is an R3. It's a fairly simple amendment that the branch offs are seeking. It's to one particular lot, an empty lot, development. And what they're asking, well, first of all, this lot is a corner lot, so it's already got issues. 5-foot setback lots, the two fronts.
Okay.
So
What they're seeking is to reduce the rear yard setback from 25 to 10. And you're gonna see it's an unusual shaped lot as well. In the next slide, I think we can show the PUD that was approved by City Council back in 1999. The yellow portion is this odd shaped lot that we're talking about.
Just on the lot.
It might not make it bigger out there.
There you go.
The next picture will have a little enlarged of just that lot, but that kind of gives you the idea of the two front setbacks on that side, and then it's got a strange indent in the lot itself as well. The applicants came to us with approval by the HOA. They took a vote and approved the amendment. The property owner abutting this parcel also sent in a letter of support. And lastly, the Planning Commission at their public hearing December 18th vetted this, reviewed it, and made a recommendation for council approval.
Okay,
So
that was my question.
yeah. So now it's before you for your approval. That's an up close of the lot itself and where they would like that 10-foot setback. So on tonight's, I think we're just looking for your motion to approve, amend, or deny, and then legislative action at a following meeting.
So that would be a motion to amend.
This one would be a motion to approve the amendment.
To approve the amendment.
As presented, yep.
Is Mr. and Mrs. Ranchoff here?
They're not here, but we're neighbors representing.
Oh.
They're in California right now.
Oh, wow.
We're the Coburns. We live in Turtle Bay.
Okay, all right. I guess, go ahead.
Christine, where the little red arrows are that will notch out, that's like the parking lot for the
Turtle Bay condos, is that basically what notches in? Or is that
Or a garage building?
Garage
or
building?
What that is exactly, but it's showing that, that's how they got that lot by that amount.
that little?
So it's already got a strange angle
Yeah,
to it.
yeah. And effectively, the quote-unquote back is kind of a side if you're on the other street because it's a corner, right?
Correct.
So,
Yep.
Mr. Artino, you were on the planning commission, so this was all.
Well, I still have, my only concern with any time we do this kind of stuff is fire safety.
Right.
You know, is there access and those kind of things? That's my only concern.
So on this one, there is, because we had checked out the neighboring property. They are roughly 14 feet away from the property line.
Yeah, so I think I read it, so they had an amendment at some point or reduction at some point, okay.
so they would be 24 feet between the houses.
I just want to make sure, and Mr. Ebert, as far as the PUD, I know those are kind of set, but we're allowed to do this as far as a.
Is that a, is that a residence there where the red arrows are coming away from?
I believe that is their some garage structure from Turtle Bay.
For the
I'm not
condos.
Positive. but possibly the neighbors could fill us in on what that is.
Yeah, so this area right here, is this just the garage or is that the apartments?
That's the condos.
That's the con.
The garage.
Condo
Not just
garage.
for the condos, okay.
And this is the neighbor that has the setback.
Where
Plan
the-
on being a house there.
They're
We thought if
selling.
anybody would have an issue with it, it would be that neighbor, because that's really the only one, because it's actually, they want to build closer, have building to reduce it, because it's like 20-some feet from their lot, which, if you really look at the rest of Turtle Bay, nobody has a 20-foot setback like that from a neighbor. Like, we live right across the street, and you can see all those houses over there, there's, what is it, 12, 10 feet each, 12 feet?
10 feet on each side.
10 feet each side.
Oh.
But for whatever reason, they put 12 feet there, and nobody who lives there knows.
Why?
We've had all these meetings, and so all we're doing is really asking to move that lot line, so that next to Ransom's there, they'll have their 10 feet, and then they'll have their 10 feet. So we don't understand why it was ever.
Well, this was back in 1999. I was so young back then.
1999,
Yeah, is there any, thanks. Any questions on this or comments? All right, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I'll make the motion to accept it as is. Do I need to approve the amendment as presented?
Is that good, Mr. Ebert? Questions on the motion? Roll call.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Hap?
Yes,
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
very good. I will entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we adjourn tonight's public hearing.
Questions? Roll call.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Hap?
Yes,
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
very good. Okay. Now I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the City Council. We will start off with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Middlecombe?
Here.
Martino?
Here.
Claus?
Here.
Hap?
Here.
Dyke? Reeves?
Here.
Peggy?
Here.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Klaus.
make a motion to excuse Mr. Dyke from tonight's meeting?
Questions? Roll call, please.
Claus?
Yes.
Hap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have approval of minutes, which will be one at a time, I believe.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we approve the minutes of the August 27, 2024 council work session as written.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Hap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Same.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we approve the minutes of the September 24th, 2024 council work session as written.
Questions? Roll call.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Hap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we approve the minutes of the October 8th, 2024 council work session as written.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Hap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we approve the minutes of the December 18th, 2024 regular meeting of council as written.
Questions? Roll call.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Abstain.
Claus?
Yes.
Hap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Abstain.
Peggy?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we approve the minutes of the January 14th, 2025 council work session as written.
Questions? Roll call.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Hap?
Abstain?
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we approve the minutes of the January 14th, 2025 regular meeting of council as written.
Questions? Roll call.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Abstain.
Graves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Very good. Moving on, audience comments. Citizens may address their concerns to the city council. Please state your name and address for the recorded journal, and we keep to a 3-minute time limit, please. If anyone would like to come up and speak. Very good. Are they not here?
An email.
We can delay it to the end of the meeting.
Okay, we were gonna have a presentation by Sue Daughtery and Amy Ballman Moore regarding fundraising and resource coordinator for serving our seniors. They are not here? Okay. If they do show up, we may do that later on in the evening. Moving to old business, we have ordinance number 2024-56.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Greaves.
I make a motion. Am I doing this third and final reading or waiting for reading?
Third and final.
I make a motion placing ordinance number 2024-56 on third and final reading.
Questions on third and final? Roll call?
Graves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes. Mr. Waters?
Read it first.
Mr.
Here.
Ebert?
An ordinance amending chapter 1131, landscape requirements of the codified ordinance of Huron, Ohio to establish a new section 1131.11 outdoor lighting regulations.
No, Mr. Waters. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. This is our third and final reading to introduce 1131.11, which is a new section. This is for outdoor lighting. This was introduced based on some neighbor complaints of light trespass. This new section basically handles two types of lighting fixtures. One is new lighting fixtures, which have to be fully shielded when installed and when in use. And then exceptions to those that have to be fully shielded are those with different lumen levels, lower lumen levels. Ones are for like Christmas lighting. The other one is for lower levels of intermediate lumens, which have to be at least partially shielded. And then the other exception is for lighting that would illuminate like the facade of a building. Those have to be directed at the building. The other type of lighting that is regulated is existing lighting. For those that are not fully shielded, these have to be turned off between 9 p.m. and sunrise, and they cannot be directed at the property of another, and they cannot be rotating, flashing, or moving lighting. The purpose of this is to kind of match the criminal mischief code, and its purpose is to restrict unreasonably shining, glaring, reflecting, or projecting light onto the property of another. With that, I'd open up to any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Higgy?
Is this for residential only?
Yes, this would be residential only. There's a separate section.
I saw a note in here that commercial's covered under a different one.
Yes, that's
Did I
right.
read that right? Okay.
And the only question I had was, and I think I've asked you this before, was that I get it's the residential only, but if somebody, for security purposes, then we run into kind of a gray area there, don't we?
Right. So there's a section that deals with that. And this would be for, if they are for security purposes, they would generally have to be off after 9 p.m., but if they're for security, they'd have to be on a motion sensor to turn them on and off.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Waters? Thank you. Final adoption.
Graves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes. Okay, we are moving to new business. We have ordinance number 2025-3.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Artino.
I move to place ordinance number 2025-3 on its first reading.
Questions on first reading? Roll call.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes.
Graves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Mr. Ebert.
An ordinance repealing, replacing section 1369.04 fees Chapter 1369, transit rental property, Huron codified ordinance.
Mr. Alaska.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Every year we reevaluate the transient rental registration fee. It's been $400 since the inception of the program. Obviously, the recommendation is to keep it at $400, but what we noticed in reviewing it for this year is all the rest of our zoning codes where there's fees attached, the fee amount is in the codified ordinance. When we did the transient rental code back in 2020, we did not put the specific fee as a reference point in our codified ordinances, so we're just putting the $400 fee into the actual transient rental code like we do with the rest of our zoning permits and fees. Our zoning permits don't have a fee schedule, like one consolidated area. Our building fees do, but our zoning fees are actually in the code themselves, so we're just codifying the $400.
Okay. So it's $400 per year plus the $50 inspection?
Which has been the same since
Same,
the
it's
inception
been
of the
the same.
program. Yes. Yeah, we're not changing the fees, we're just codifying them.
All right.
I thought I remember discussing that. We want to get locked in. We want the ability to change it if we need it year by year.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councilman Hagan, we can just change it in the transit rental code. But right now, for anyone that's looking for what our fees are, there's no place to go look at what the fee is. So we're trying to make it a little bit more user-friendly. This still does give us the ability to request a change.
A little pushback on that, though. If I'm looking for fees, I'm not going to go look up the ordinance or the law that created it. I'm going to go look at a separate sheet of fees.
And through you, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Hagan, I think ultimately we want to get there with zoning. We do not have a consolidated fee schedule for zoning. I think we should. We have it for building. So I do think long-term we do need a zoning fee schedule. We just don't have it yet. So this is sort of an interim fix till we create a fee schedule. I agree with you.
Other questions? Final adoption. First reading. Moving on, resolution number 14-2025.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Greaves.
make a motion waiving the three reading rule, placing resolution number 14-2025 on its first reading.
Questions on the waiving three reading? Roll call.
Reeves.
Yes.
Peggy.
Yes.
Fiddlecombe.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Claus.
Yes.
Cap.
Yes. Ebert.
Resolution to authorize the city manager to accept a proposal and enter into an agreement with Firelands Electric, Inc. for the installation of two sectional analyzers and related conduit, one on Rye Beach Road, one on the south side of Sawmill Parkway, relating to the Huron Public Power Expansion Project in an amount not to exceed $55,960.
Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we're all aware, HPP is trying to do an expansion effort. And in getting to the end of Sawmill Parkway, one of the businesses reached out to us to become our first new customer since 2018, I think. So this is a cost to take the electric from the mouth of Sawmill Parkway, where the expansion project is stopping, and take it to that business so we can actually supply them and bring them on as a new customer. They will actually refund us $36,800 of those costs. The rest of it is what we expect to make out of distribution costs from that customer within the first year.
Was that label aid?
Yeah, pre-plus actually. But
So once they go there, then it's easier to go on down the road, right?
Yep. One moving down.
This conduit only? Copper also.
This is a conduit. This is the power lines and the sectional lasers.
This is copper. This is wire itself.
Yep.
But they're right at the entrance, so it's pretty short distance.
It's
We're already
one block.
Yeah, we're already there. I mean, we're to the other side of the street.
Yep. We will be
the other project.
Yes.
Yeah, that's paid for by the other.
Very good. Questions from Mr. Hamilton? Might as well just stay up there.
Oh, it's getting old.
Final adoption.
Reeves.
Yes.
Peggy.
Yes.
Fiddlecombe.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Claus.
Yes.
Cap.
Yes. Next, we have resolution number 15-2025.
Mayor,
Mr. Hagee.
move that the three reading rules waived and that resolution 15-25 be submitted on its first reading.
Questions on the three reading? Roll call, please.
Peggy?
Yes.
Middleton?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Mr. Hebert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution to authorize the city manager to accept a bid and enter into a contract with Pepco for the procurement of the 15 kW switchgear portion of the substation expansion project for the Huron Public Substation at 1156 Rye Beach Road in the city of Huron, Ohio, at a cost not to exceed $710,800.
$710,780. What I have.
10,800.
800, right.
Okay, we have 710,780.
Is it eight?
710,800.
Oh, it is 780?
That's what it is.
Oh, I'm looking at
Apologize.
Mr. Hamilton.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. So again, back to the HPP expansion. Last year we ordered the transformer itself. We expect that to come in end of April, beginning of May this year. This bid was to buy the switchgear that then controls the transformer, connects it to the distribution network. This is hardware only. There will be a third bid coming, which will be the installation of this switchgear. We expect the total project to be around $2.5 million in total, fully installed and operational. Back to the earlier discussion, HPP is a self-funded enterprise fund, so it has to pay for its own debt. So we are we have utilities next week. We're going to be discussing a rate increase for Huron Public Power to pay for this additional debt that we're bringing on and continue to support the expansion of HPP for the customers.
The rate increase still keeps us competitive, correct?
Oh, we will still be 40% plus below our competitors.
And with this new transformer, I think, so that with that we can possibly connect a very huge company that's on Summer Parkway, if we have that.
Unfortunately, that would take another one.
I knew you were going to say that.
But if we get to that point, it'll be
Yeah.
If we get to that point, that'll be well worth it.
Okay, very good. Any other questions?
When you say another one, you mean any entity or big, large entity?
A big, large entity. We would need another transformer to carry that kind of load.
Okay.
Want to make
Mr. Wilcom.
one comment. So page 165 in the packet, the explanationary paragraph does say 710,800. Section 1, that paragraph says 710,780. So actually, it's both numbers are in there.
Two will make up to
$20,
20
so
bucks.
should we do the higher number?
I'll do it in my pocket, as long as we do the higher number.
Yeah.
Okay, so make it
Do you want to reread this?
I'm pretty sure it's a 710, 780.
Yeah, in the bid tabulation, it was 780.
Okay, we'll keep it 710, 780, and if that's wrong.
Come on.
$20 out of my bourbon.
Yeah.
How many pounds is that?
No, nowadays.
How many euros?
Final adoption.
We'll hold a car wash.
Peggy?
Yes.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Next, we have resolution number 16-2025.
Mr. Mayor,
Middlecombe.
I move that the three reading rule is waived and that we place resolution number 16-2025 on its first reading.
Questions on the three reading? Roll call, please.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Mr. Ebert.
Resolution of the City of Huron, Ohio, supporting the Ohio Commission, United States Semi-Quincentennial America 250-OH.
Good. Mr. Steinway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. This legislation is a request for the City of Huron to register with the State of Ohio for the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial, often referred to as the America 250 Ohio. This was formed in 2022, March of 2022, by Governor DeWine's office. So by registering for this American 250 Ohio, would allow our community the city to apply for grant money to support an event in celebration of the anniversary, which culminates July 4th, 2026. So there's no financial impact. Would like to thank the Huron Library for bringing it to our attention, Mr. Lasko and Bilberry.
Questions for Mr. Steinert? Questions, Doug? Final adoption?
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Eggy?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is an amended resolution number 11-2025.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Artino.
I move to waive the three reading rule and place amended resolution number 11-2025 on its first reading.
Very good. Questions on the three reading? Roll call, please.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Eggy?
Yes.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Very good. Mr. Ebert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Amended resolution authorizing directing the city manager on behalf of the Huron Police Department to enter into a 3-year agreement with Statewide Emergency Products LLC, DBA Statewide Municipal Leasing for the lease purchase of two police cruisers in amount not to exceed $140,316.
Chief Graham.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. This amended resolution is put before you because of a typographical error in the original resolution. Made reference to two Chevy Tahoes. We are purchasing two Ford Interceptor SUVs. That's why this amended resolution is before you, to correct that.
Very good. I just had a question. Statewide Emergency Products is where you get this. You lease vehicles from.
Correct.
Where do they come from? Do they come from local dealers, or are they just wherever they can get them?
Statewide is they're a distributor.
Okay.
They're a Ford and Chevy distributor.
Okay.
So instead, we can get our vehicles from them, and then they also put them together. They stripe them to one-stop shop.
Very good. Any questions for the chief?
Ford guy, so thank you.
I'm a Chevy guy, so I'm not so happy.
Arm wrestle.
Thanks, Chief. All right. Final adoption.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Pap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Eggy?
Yes.
Middlecombe?
Yes.
Okay, next we entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Klaus.
We're going to make a motion to set a public hearing on the application of John Farshman for placement of farmland on into an agricultural district.
The date.
For Tuesday, February 25th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m., immediately preceding our regular council meeting.
Mr. Ebert, nothing to say? Okay. Anything to say, Mr. Glassman?
No, Mr. Mayor, I think I've had one of these in the last 2 or 3 years, but this requires an act of council for them to be placed in the.
Could you help me with it though? It's
What are they exactly?
farmland on agricultural, area called zoned agriculture. I don't understand.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Mr. Farshman stopped in. He filed this application with the auditor. He's then required to serve a copy on us. And he owns property that is partly in the township, partly in the city. If you have farmland in a city, then you have to go through council for the designation to be in the CAUV district. So this is just asking for the portion. I think it's 14.8 acres that actually is in the city. And then I just have to say it went through council and you approved, you don't disapprove of him using it as farmland.
Okay. Is that Bogart Road that we're talking?
Didn't even pull that up.
But it's right on Berlin Road.
Oh. Okay.
We've done
It
this.
is.
We've done this kind of thing
We
before.
did it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I had the same question as Mr. Hagan. Farmland and agricultural. It just sounded like it was the same thing.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right. Final adoption or approval
For the hearing.
for the hearing.
Me.
Claus.
Yes.
Pap.
Yes.
Reeves.
Yes.
Haggy.
Yes.
Biddlecombe.
Yes.
Martino.
Yes.
Very good. Mr. Lasko, do we want to do the city manager discussion, or do we want to do the
I could do the report and then maybe,
Berlin Road deal after that?
yeah,
Okay. We go to the city manager's discussion then.
too anxious to do my report.
You were sitting there so quietly.
It's all ready to go.
So quietly and peaceful.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council, those in the audience, those watching at home. Just a few development updates. Following council's action at our last council meeting, we have sent the purchase agreement for ConAgra to the development team for signature. So as soon as we get that back, we will send that purchase agreement to Hartung Title, which will officially commence the due diligence process for the developers. I also know, following up on a question Mr. Biddlecombe had at last meeting related to Long John Silver's, those plans and permits are in review. The building department did have a demolition meeting on site January 23rd. Demolition permit has been issued. We expect that to commence here shortly, so long as Ohio Edison removes the power from the site. So we'll start seeing activity there, hopefully very shortly.
They are already.
They're already there. Yeah. A few updates for the police department. Haven't had a flock update in a while, but just wanted to share through February 2024, we've been averaging around 450,000 plate reads per month, which equates to about 5 million thus far since the installation of those 5 cameras. There are another 3 that are in the budget for 2025, which will bring our total to 8 cameras. The program continues to be a tremendous success and asset for the police department, and has really increased the solvability rate for hit, skip accidents and thefts throughout the city, and to the benefit of other communities for vehicles that are passing through the city. Also, a quick update on the K-9 program. We continue to see significant support from the community. We've recently received several generous donations, most recently in the last week or two, a $9,000 donation, which we're very appreciative of. And again, the great program since we restarted that a year or two ago. Huron Public Power, Mr. Hamilton did mention in his presentation, we're putting the final touches on our rate study. Again, this is something that we like to do every couple years, not just with water, but now with Huron Public Power. We will go to the Utilities Committee meeting on February 5th for them to look at the recommendations of that rate study prior to bringing those recommendations to council. A quick personnel update. We did want to congratulate in the water plant operator Kyle Capodice, who received his Water Supply 1 license with the Ohio EPA on January 23rd of this year. Congratulations, Mr. Capodice. Also, as relates to city manager approvals and agreements, I did execute a memorandum of agreement with Erie Soil and Water Conservation District to set forth the terms and conditions of a cooperative working agreement for implementation of the construction site runoff control program for the 2025 calendar year. There is no charge to the city associated with that agreement. And then just finally, upcoming meetings. I still have on here, and I don't know if Mr. Claus can confirm, but I have that there is a Huron Joint Port Authority meeting
Tomorrow night.
tomorrow, Wednesday, January 29th at 6 o'clock p.m. in the Huron Township Hall. Moving to February, there's a Huron Joint Rec District meeting Tuesday, February 4th at 6:30 in the council chambers. The Utilities Committee meeting again is Wednesday, February 5th at 5 o'clock in the main conference room. Board of Zoning Appeals meets Monday, February 10th at 5:30 in the council chambers. City Council work session tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, February 11th at 5:30 in the council chambers. Immediately following will be the regular City Council meeting, same day, Tuesday, February 11th at 6:30 in the council chambers. Planning Commission meeting is Wednesday, February 19th at 5 o'clock in the council chambers. There's a Records Commission meeting Tuesday, February 20th at 9 o'clock a.m. in the council chambers. And then finally, a City Council meeting Tuesday, February 25th at 6:30 in the council chambers. And then a reminder to the public that city administrative offices will be closed on Monday, February 17th in observance of President's Day. That concludes all my remarks. I'm happy to answer any questions as it relates to the manager's report.
Questions from Mr. Lasko, Mr. Hagee?
I just had a couple, sent an email a couple months ago to you guys about, who was here last time talking about certain cities have ordinances against mother-in-law suites, and we're one of them. And I was asking if you guys had a chance to both verify that, because that's what I was told by Eric when I had a question from a resident, and if we're gonna do something about that.
Through Mr. Mayor, Councilman Hagee, that is accurate, that those aren't permitted currently in our zoning code. And I'll look for an update, but we have asked the SSEG team to start looking at minimally what other cities have done to permit it, so that we can probably at some point in the next couple months have a work session and just explore what could some options be to allow that, whether that's something that this council wants to consider. So I'll check in with SSEG. We did ask them immediately after that meeting to start doing some research.
So we're moving.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And then just a quick one, where are we now with output per day? I know we want to get to 5 million, but we weren't there last time we talked about this.
Mr. Mayor, we are still hung up with the EPA at this point. They sent us back some clarifying questions with the last submittal. We've answered those questions, and again, we're waiting on them coming back. We were down to about 2 items that we had to address. We believe we've addressed them, so hopefully sometime, I'm not going to put a time frame on it, the EPA.
So we were at 2.5. Are we still at 2.5 waiting, or did we get to creep up a little?
No.
3.4, right?
3.4 we're at.
3.4 or 3.2?
3.4.
3.4. We'll go up past 5 once we're approved.
Thanks.
Stay there. What? He cringes. What? Where are we at on the water tower? Time frame. I love giving you time frame.
So, you notice how I kind of walk around.
I know.
So the plan packet has been submitted to the EPA. It's under review with them. We've carried out all the surveys, the plats, the easements are all drawn up by SSEG. They're with RDR right now for review. So we're kind of on the holding pattern on both sides of that right now.
We got $5 million?
Correct, yeah.
For that. I guess my question is there a time that we have to use that?
Danger of losing it?
Yeah.
It has to be committed by June 30th of this year. So that means we have to get out to bid and we have to issue a PO to lock those funds in. So as long as we've got them committed, then we've got to the end of 26 to actually spend the funds.
We're safe then.
As long as we get the bid packet out and we get PO issued by June 30th, yes.
Do we get any consideration if it's the EPA that's preventing us from getting?
Yeah. Really?
We have a feeling they may do another extension. They did this extension on the last day of last year when those funds were supposed to run out. I think most people who got this grant funding are in the same boat as us.
Okay.
They were a last minute thing, so I think they may just incrementally bump it by 6 months at a time.
Because of the EPA, the whole.
Yes.
Okay. It's nothing on our end that we're doing. We're doing everything we're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
Okay. That's all I need to know. Any other questions for Mr. Laskow or Mr. Hamilton? All right. Mayor's discussion. I don't have a whole lot. First of all, I want to give our condolences to the Berlin family. James Berlin passed away this last week. Both his sons were part of the Huron Fire Department. So our prayers and condolences to the family. Congrats to Kyle Capodice. I think I'm saying that correct on his certification. For those that know, we did have a work session earlier today. We are trying to figure out budgetary issues. And we are going to follow through with that, and I hopefully sooner than later, and we will keep people updated on that. Again, I think the council, the staff, administration, we have a lot of work to do this year. We have a lot of, I will say, projects that are in the works that are going on, and again, one of my problems that I have personally is my patience on getting stuff done and how long it takes to get stuff done. But that's why I always hold people to time frames. But it's just the way it is, and I would like for stuff to go faster, but it's a process. Other than that, we had some really cold weather, and I'm ready for warm weather. That is all I've got right now. I will move on to, do we want to do the motion right now? Okay, so I guess you want to explain this first before we.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, and I'm not going to put Doug on the spot, but if there's anything you want to jump in on, Mr. Steinwart, please do. Just want to follow up on an email that I've circulated to council. As everyone is aware, the city purchased real estate on Berlin Road, which has been converted into a park, part in the city, part in the township. One of the things we've ultimately need to get to is signage for the facility like we do for the rest of our green spaces. We have through the township, because where the entrance is and where the signage would ultimately go is in the township, we did have to request a variance for the size of the sign that would go there. That variance was granted. It would be an unlit sign was the requirement. We do have in the budget for 2025 to put signage there. But ultimately, we need to have a recommendation from council for a formal name for the site. We did have a citywide survey in which we received over 100 responses from the community. I will note there were really 3 that stood out through that vote, which was Dancing Waters Park or Dancing Waters Pond, which was sort of a ode to what the Pryor family used to call the pond on site. Also Ross Park, which again was in the name of the former owner, the most recent owner, and then Berlin Road Park. We also had a conversation at the Joint Rec District, in which I put in my email. They had 3 that sort of bubbled to the top as well, although only one of those related to the top 3 from the community. But the top 3 from the Huron Joint Rec District were Berlin Road Park, Fishing Hole, and Old Man's Pond is sort of a play on Old Woman's Creek. At this point, I think we just wanted to have a brief discussion with council to see if there was at least a majority that council would want to go with so that we could move forward with sign ordering and installation this spring. And I don't know if there's anything else, Mr. Steinwart, you want to add to that.
So we have ask them to give us their top 3. Gillespie read their top 3, and so there was some discussion about all of our parks in general, and we started talking about how did Nickel Plate obviously come to Nickel Plate, how did Fabens come to, some people didn't realize it was donated from Andrew L. Fabens, and that was in the agreement when they gifted it to the city. So some of those questions were about, well, did we pay for it? Was it gifted? We obviously paid for it. So just to give some context on how they came up with their top 3.
Did they give any indication of why they were not, why Dancing Waters and Ross didn't make their top 3?
No, we didn't give we sent out the email before, and so we didn't give any context before they voted, and then we had some dialogue after, and that at that time we explained Dancing Water, some of the family members called it that, but some of the questions were, well, what did we pay, did we purchase, and then there was the conversation of Fabens, Andrew L. Fabens donated it, and some of those types of conversations happened.
I'll put my 2 cents in. I knew Charlie Ross. I knew the family. I was actually, remember when he dug the pond, and they had called that, and then when Charlie had passed, his brother Mike, we had spoke to him. He was kind of on the same thing. I don't know if the HARD actually knew that was what the family was requesting at the time, so that was probably on us. And I was kind of surprised when I didn't see it on there, but when I see it, it kind of had the most votes out of the ones that were coming. So I do know, I can, speak for Charlie. That's what Charlie kind of wanted. That's what his brother wanted. I believe he had a sister too.
Which?
The Dancing Waters is what they called it, and I think we had spoke about that. That's kind of what I feel like I would probably go with. They were a family here for ever, as far as I know. Yeah.
I guess Mr. Ross went to all that work to dig all that and put that in, and did it himself. And if the family kind of looking for that, either Dancing Water Park or Ross Park, but if that's what they're looking for was Dancing Water, then that would be my suggestion, but
Anyone else with a comment?
I'll just say, I guess I'm more in line with the Parks and Rec and their recommendation in Berlin Road Park.
I fielded a lot of the social media stuff on this, and I know that Dancing Waters was a very popular thing. I guess my only concern, which, you know, I'm not against that name, my only concern is that the history behind it's kind of going to be lost on the majority of the public. So they're not going to necessarily know the reasoning behind it. And then when you get people trying to locate different parks, you know, Berlin Road Park is pretty specific. It tells you where it is, and so.
Understood. I know when I spoke with Mike Ross, this was after Charlie had passed away, we had spoke about the property. They were actually hoping at some point that we bench in there with some kind of plaque or something on the bench like we did.
Explain some.
And it would explain some of that history. So I think it's kind of a tribute to the family, and they've been around forever. So,
well, I mean, our own Parks and Recs group weren't sure where the name Fabian's Park came from. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
so,
correct. It went
so,
to history on some of our other parks.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Ralph Fabian's Memorial, how did that happen? And you know, obviously we
So
showed
we,
it to Fabian's.
so once again, we'd have to educate the community, whatever name you give it. We'd have to educate the community to it, and I think we owe the family something.
I would agree on the, I mean, I thought would be the Dancing Water Park as well. Obviously we'll vote officially, but
well, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we name the park on Berlin Road Park.
There's a motion on
How's that for a motion?
motion on the floor. Okay.
we have to vote on that.
We have to vote on
Vote
it.
on that first.
Yeah, roll call.
Hagee.
Yes.
Middlecombe.
Yes.
Martino.
No.
Claus.
No.
Hat.
No.
Greaves.
Yes.
That makes it interesting.
Tie. So that's a no.
Mr. Ebert?
Doesn't fly. It doesn't go. It's a tie vote.
Okay. So it does not go.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we name the park Dancing Water Park.
Questions? Okay, roll call.
Martino.
Yes.
Claus.
Yes.
Hat.
Yes.
Greaves.
No.
Hagee.
Nope.
Middlecombe.
Yes.
Traitor.
All right. Dancing Waters Park.
If I could, Mr. Mayor, I think I appreciate that. I think I just want to reiterate, I think we'll put our heads together about how to, for those that are either born way beyond, you know, from this date, have some type of education at the facility as to how that name came to be. So
yeah, and I think maybe we could, and I don't know how who's got a contact, but maybe Mr. Lasco or reach out to the sister. Somebody's got that somewhere.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, unfortunately, we lost the second sibling as well. So you and I talked briefly. We could possibly try to track down the third family member, even by going to the brokerage that represented the family in the sale, to possibly track down to get some more narrative on our behalf. So we'll put some work in there.
You don't hear?
I don't.
Moving on, for the good of the order, Mr. Hagee.
I have nothing.
Mr. Greaves.
Just a couple shout outs, thanks to the street department for getting the roads cleared and the water department for full days and keeping that going.
Very good. Mr. Klaus.
Just my condolences to the Berlin family. As Monty said, his sons, and I think he was a volunteer fireman going way back as well. And just thanks for staff and streets department, but all our staff that works outside, you know, Doug's crews and stuff that are having to brave this weather and get through things and keep us going. There's going to be more to come, I'm sure, here before we're through the winter. Appreciate everybody's hard work. That's it.
Mr. Artino.
Same thing, condolences to the Berlin family. And I would like to also recognize our city staff, people that are working out in this cold, and for all the great work that our dedicated team is doing. Thank you.
Mr. Biddlecombe.
Thank you, staff, for all your hard work. My condolences to the Berlin family. Congrats to Kyle in the water department, and congratulations to Officer Blair. He was voted by his peers Officer of the Year in the Huron PD. I saw that on Huron's social media page, so congratulations to him. There is a Dine to Donate tonight at Huron Domino's to support the Huron PTO. Next school board meeting is February 24th. That's Monday at the high school. Home games coming up. Girls basketball, January 29th, February 1st and 8th. Boys basketball, January 28th, 31st, and February 7th. Bowling, January 28th, 30th. And please come out and support our local events, programs, student athletes, and go Tigers.
Very good. If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Biddlecombe.
I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
Questions? Roll call, please.
Fiddlecombe?
Yes.
Martino?
Yes.
Claus?
Yes.
Cap?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Peggy?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you, everyone.